Welcome to my take of Voiceover Studio Travelogue. I'm Paula Tiso, and today I'm on my way driving out to see Andrew Heyl. We're going to talk about all the different little niches in voiceover, booth directing, and have a look at his studio, which I hear is super swell. So come on along. Burger socks.
Burger size.
Hi, I'm Andrew Heyl, and this is my take.
She's happy to go up.
All right, smile for the camera.
Smile for the camera. She doesn't smile too well.
Many years ago, I did on camera when I first moved to LA, which is many years ago now. I was doing on camera, and I wasn't really getting as far as I wanted to with it. So I ended up going into the corporate world. You know, I left acting and did some stage stuff here and there. You know, as everybody in this town can tell you, it can be rough, right? So I started working, quote, for the man, as it were. And I guess at around 2000, I'd missed it so much. I missed acting, and I discovered a couple people that were doing voiceover, and then I was introduced to Mark Cashman. I got to put her down. I was introduced to Mark Cashman. She's gonna puke on screen. I was introduced to Mark Cashman. I took his workshop, and I really enjoyed him. He was a lot of fun, and he really taught some basics and some more intense ways to handle voice acting, and there was a lot more to it than I ever recognized. So I started about 2000 to really dedicate myself to learning the craft and learning the art of it, and really understanding it is acting, not just a nice voice or any of that kind of stuff. My favorite niche in voiceover is ADR and looping. I really enjoy that. I don't get to do it nearly as much. There are some people that do it plenty just because they just seem to, like Lex Lang. I mean, I know he does a ton of it. He's just got this very versatile voice. Ben Pronsky's another guy who I know who does a fair amount. And I really enjoy that. It's the most fun you have because it's so many creative, improvisational, artistic, and incredibly talented people that do that. I love it. I really do. I wish I could do it more. I really do. That's the one area that if I could work more regularly, I would love to do it more. I would like to do more television because that's the fun work. It's a 4-hour day and you work 3 to 5 days a week, and it's nice. But a lot of Marvel stuff through Johnny Gitcomb. So Deadpool, Wolverine, gosh, there's a whole bunch. Mike and Dave Need Wedding Dates. That was a lot of fun. Yeah, so a fair amount. I've got a pretty neat resume with that now, which was unexpected. That's not something I ever really knew about when I got into voiceover. I had no idea what ADR and looping. My mom still doesn't know what the hell ADR and looping is. I send her videos. She's like, I don't understand what you do. But I don't care. It's just funny. I would say financially where I do the best is my commercial work. I'm a proponent of union work. I'm a proponent of understanding what the union is and why it's important. And you gotta pet my dog. That has been my bread and butter. That's where I've made the bulk of my living, in commercial work. And it's funny because I know you're going to ask me where you might know my voice from. I get a fair amount of regional stuff in campaign form. So it might not be anything here in LA, it could be the Midwest somewhere, that kind of thing. And that's where I get the majority of my income from. Where I get the bulk of my work is the e-learning side of things. So it may not pay the same amount, but it keeps me busy. And in this industry, when you're not busy, you just want to jump off of a bridge, right? So the good part about the e-learning is it's long form, so it keeps you occupied during the day, and it gives you a sense of business, and it gives you a sense of direction, and it does pay a fair amount of bills if you do it correctly. So I would say the bulk time-wise of my work is e-learning stuff, because I have a fair amount of clients now that I've built up. And on the other side, the commercial stuff, if I could do more of it like all of us, I would. You know, it's a very saturated field, but that's where the lion's share of being able to do it for a living comes from. She's about to hit that tripod, I'm sorry. She does, I do a fair amount of financial training for a company. So they do all of the training videos for people who want to invest and things like that, which is neat because we learn so much with what we do, right? So international compliance law may not affect me in any way, shape, or form, but learning how to plan for retirement, learning how to invest, learning, you know, how to set up a 401k, all of those things are byproducts for me to learn as I do these e-learning things. So e-learning could be anything. It could be on how to use your computer. It could be a video on how to use your computer, or a training film on how to assemble a bicycle. Any of that kind of stuff. The clients that you do well with, that you turn around quickly, you do it accurately and professionally, they don't have a lot of edits that they need to make because you're doing your thing, and you get it to them in a very professional, clean sounding format. Those are the clients who will come back over and over again, and that's a big blessing. And much like affiliate work, the folks that do e-learning, they move from company to company. Now I've got people that have moved to new companies 3-4 times and taken me with them. Just like if you talk to like a Bo Weaver about affiliates, he started many years ago with a small grouping of stations, but all of those people moved up, they moved out, and they took him with them, and he ends up with like a ton of stations, and he sits there on a microphone all day. Some of the projects that I may be known for, I've had a AAA campaign here in LA. It runs in 3 states, but in California, there's a couple of AAA spots that I've been very, very, very blessed with, that have run literally for 10 years. And I even had that talk with my agent. I said, you realize it's been 10 years? They're like, get out of here. I'm like, yeah, like nobody has that, right? And it used to be a lot higher paying, right? Because they would air it more and stuff like that. But still, it's just one of those miracles that runs. And then I've had, I get a lot of medical stuff. I don't look like the face of trust, but my voice, I guess, is very trustworthy, and a lot of healthcare campaigns, and I've got them in several different states that have run, you know, anywhere from 2-3 years, which I think in this environment is a miracle. Yeah. So UW Health is one of them, AAA, and then I don't know a lot about video games because I don't do a ton of them, but I've got a couple of those that I'll be able to announce next March and April. And then The Walking Dead was a franchise that I was part of as well, as far as video games go. Yeah, in the role of Clint.
Where you try to come up with the descriptors for your voice, you know, 3 words, like how to describe your voice when you are going to list it. At the time it was Voice Bank, you know, how do you describe what you sound like, regular guy, you know, intense, whatever it is that you're supposed to do. So I thought, image-wise, if there was something I could come up with that was just average Joe America, right? Nobody wants to be average Joe. Everybody always wants to be the James Bond, or everybody always wants to be the leading man or woman. But the reality is, the people that just kind of fit in are the people that work, especially in commercial. Just average guy, dad. And then the image of a hamburger came up. Just because if you think about like the all-American kind of voice, what's more all-American than just a plain old hamburger? So then I labored and I found photographs of hamburgers that I thought, and then I realized, well, maybe that's going to offend the vegetarians. Like these are the like maniacal things, because I do have a marketing background in advertising, etc. These are the things that I obsessed over. So I came up with the hamburger. And then when I built this small little studio, I thought, well, what could we call it? We'll call it Burger Palace. And then we said, okay, we'll call it Burger Palace Audio. So the hamburger symbol kind of represents the average Joe, regular guy next door voice. And it also represented the studio. So I had a friend of mine create the logo, which is now trademarked, Burger Palace Audio. It's the hamburger with the headphones, and the studio is called Burger Palace Audio, and then that's where it really came from. It all came from identifying a brand and understanding the brand. And every now and then, I'll run into somebody that'll be like, "Oh, you're the hamburger guy," and I'm cool with that, right? Because it doesn't matter how we get out there and how people recognize us, as long as there's some kind of branded association. So that's where that came from.
I love
Not
it.
in a nutshell, but that's how it came about.
I like being a booth director over at Voicecaster for many reasons. First off, Kelly, Travis, and the people over there are just fun to work with. They're just good, easy to get along with, caring people. I really love them. When I was just telling somebody this, I got the most amazing compliment from a person from DPN that came in. And he said, "You know, I got to tell you, I had a really," he said, "I got to tell you, I had a really good time working with you. You were really terrific." And here's a guy that's been doing this longer than I have. And when I first started over there, I was nervous. Like, what in the heck am I going to be able to contribute to anyone walking into this booth, especially when you get these like big name talents that are coming in that have been doing this forever. You know, I won't name drop, but there's a lot of people, and I learn from them in so many different ways. I share this with as many people as I can. The people who book come in and they don't question what they're going to do. It's our job as actors to book the job. Now here comes the bleep. It's their job to f it up in the session, right? Which is about accurate because it doesn't necessarily mean that what you did in your audition is what they're going to go with in the session. But what they do is they find that individual, that person that stands out, that really gets their attention, because if it gets their attention, they believe it's going to get their listener or their viewer's attention as well. So being yourself, just do what you do. Those are the people that book.
Any advice for someone starting out in the voiceover?
Drink plenty of fluids, don't eat fried foods, and watch as many reruns of Gilligan's Island as you possibly can. No. The truth is, it's a business, and understand that this is a business. Talent works for a few people. Like, I mean, just truly outrageous, like a Piotr Michael, right? I would even say there's a couple people out there. They're just so talented that they couldn't help but work, right? And their agents will get them work. They just will. But those people are far and few between. You shouldn't give away what you do for free. A lot of people feel as though, you know, well, I'm just starting out, you know, this is how I cut my teeth, etc. And there are plenty of predatory producers out there that are saying, well, here, do this for me for free, and if I get more work, it'll be out there. That's how we're hurting our industry right now. So my advice is, know your value, don't work for free no matter what it is, and the work will come to you. You know, the workshops that I would take at Voicecaster before I started working there, you know, real simple. Kelly would ask a question. Who are you talking to? Because that really dials it in. It does. Like, and the people that come in that have worked with Kelly or have taken the workshop, I'll ask them, okay, who are you talking to? And you could tell the people that don't have it, they're like, no one? I'm like, correct. How did I know that? Because you could tell, right? It's that simple. Pick somebody. And by the way, it's beautiful because if you even practice it at home, you could pick your daughter, you could pick a boss at work, you could pick your, you know, a little kid, you could pick your best friend, because you're going to speak to every one of these people differently. And it's something that I say practice at home. Listen back, do your recording, choose somebody that you're speaking with, husband, wife, dog, and do the same read, but speak to someone different each time. Your intention will change. Sit on it. Don't listen back right away. Wait a day or two, and then come back and write down, when you're in the booth, write down whom you were speaking with at the time, and see if that makes sense to you. See if you can hear the differences. it's so fundamentally simple, but it works. Who are you talking to? So I love improv in an audition. And the thing I love about it is it brings who you are to the copy. And you have to use it. I've always heard this from several people, as long as it serves the copy, right? So if there's some humor in it, it's okay to throw in some improv. It's okay to put in your own line. It's okay to paint the picture of what's around you. You know, some of the radio spots, people book them all the time because they'll throw in, I just stepped on the dog, or that hurt. You know, those kinds of things that bring a spot to life, especially in radio. It works a lot. They say that you shouldn't improv too much on television spots, but again, if it serves the copy and it makes you stand out, if you can make a casting director or if you can make a client laugh, I guarantee you, you're going to get heard. I love my dog. I love you, you big goofy mutt.